Welcome to the J. Carl Report podcast, brought to you by the esteemed Johnston County Association of Realtors. Whether you're an aspiring agent, seasoned professional, or simply intrigued by the dynamic world of real estate, this podcast is your ultimate gateway to the industry's latest trends, expert insights, and insider knowledge. Join us as we unlock the secrets to success, explore market dynamics, share inspiring stories, and provide invaluable tips to help you navigate the ever-evolving real estate landscape. Get ready to embark on a journey of discovery as we empower you with the tools and strategies to thrive in the competitive realm of property transactions. Tune in, stay informed, and elevate your real estate game with the J. Carl Report. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I have the opportunity to speak with Matt Fowler. Matt is a technology executive from Huntsville, Alabama, now based in North Carolina. His first job in real estate was commercial appraiser in 1993, where Matt and a business partner developed one of the first automated valuation models. The company also developed one of the first internet-based MLSs in the country and grew to be a competitor nationally. In 2018, Matt sold Solid Earth to a competitor, FBS, where he served as vice president for 3 years. In 2021, Matt was recruited to be the first independent executive director for TMLS, the 33rd largest MLS in the U.S. and the 8th largest in South Atlantic region. Please join me in welcoming Matt. Well, welcome, Matt. Thank you for joining us today. We're very excited to have you.
Thanks, Bonnie. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. So we're going to go into a little bit on MLS. We're going to talk about the trends, technologies, and trials. Let's start off first talking about the TMLS background, your position, and then the growth and changes that you've seen with Triangle Multi-Listing Services.
Sure. Great. I'm the executive director of Triangle Multiple Listing Services based in Cary. I'm the first executive director that Triangle has had that's independent until my position started in December of 21. Triangle has always been managed by the Raleigh Regional Association of Realtors CEO, but the board decided to create an independent, and that's when I started.
Great. And have you seen a lot of changes happen with TMLS since this position started?
You know, we were just coming out of COVID when I started, so there's a lot of changes on the staff. We've gone remote as an organization. We have employees in 2 countries, 5 states now.
Wow.
So that's been a big thing. Membership has fluctuated a little bit, gone up a little bit from February to March this year, and I think I'd characterize it as stable. But as an organization, it's the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, that's great. So, as we talk about MLSs, and there's a lot of changes that are occurring, whether that's the infamous DOJ and all of those conversations, what is Triangle MLS doing to stay present and valuable, not only to the Realtor members, but also to the community and to the people purchasing the homes?
Wow, so that's a lot. How are we going to try to be valuable to every person, every public?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so, the first thing that we're thinking about, you mentioned DOJ, the first thing that we're really thinking about when I started was what technologies and services do we currently offer? Are they the best that we could be offering? Are we running the company like a business? Are we investing in our people? Or are we doing what's necessary to be the best developed? It's a question I ask the board during my interviews. And I think the answer to that pretty clearly. So some of the technologies we're using are a little old, maybe not the top rated, stats package search tool. And I've been doing this for 25 years now and ran an MLS software company for 20 years. I know people who do it better, and really proud to say that the board has supported our investment in change, and we're slowly digitally transforming the organization from a bird-driven, it kind of felt maybe like a local office. I don't mean that in a bad way to our public servants out there in tax department, but it's not. But when you go in there, we have a lot of new product and services coming. We're also building an open and it's a little geeky. What I mean is that we're starting to publish these data services that allow independent brokers and the big to use their own technology to connect. So we don't work them through a software package that we might we code and everybody has code for the next 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
We're moving away from that, and to maybe stretch that metaphor, we're gonna provide a really good vending machine, and you can pick which one you want. We guarantee they're all going to be cold, and they're all going to be available, but it's a front end of that is very popular. We're the 33rd largest MLS in the country, 8th largest in the Mid-Atlantic. We're big enough to do this. Only one or two MLSs, notably Silicon Valley MLS listings.com, have done this and gone live with it. So we're going to go from maybe among the slowest to adopt new technologies to among the first.
Fast tracking, full throttle with it. So what I'm hearing from that is that first, with bringing the technology in where things are going to be, getting away from the paper and just making it really much easier on the realtor to complete the process from beginning to end, just so they have enough on their plate as it is. They don't need to take 30 minutes to fill out an application or a contract or something. But also, very interesting about kind of making almost like an a la carte or as you said, the vending machine. So what will it look like on the other side? Are you saying that this is going to be kind of almost like an IDX, that they have a choice, or what really, can you go a little bit more into that? So
yeah, sure. That's not a bad analogy. IDX. You get the IDX feed from us, but you get to pick the IDX vendor that you want here. That's the kind of competition that we're building on the MLS. Of our merger with Alamance, we're about to offer CoreLogic Matrix to all the triangle drivers who might prefer Matrix. Maybe they work down near Longleaf or primarily up near Burlington, and their agents are comfortable with that product. Currently, we're fortunate in going to MLSs and to use other platforms. And what this has done is it puts the data in both, and then let you choose which interface you find more compelling. And this fall, currently the data center for go live of the new MLS system for Triangle. We're launching a new ad listing platform that will be required for all listings that come into the system. They'll come in through RESO web update. But the official way to add a listing to Triangle will be through a new ad listing module that is being built right now. It's very mobile. You can start a listing from the field, and that will allow us to offer Paragon services for the people that prefer Paragon. Paragon will just start getting its update from the main Triangle database in the future, and load those listings to Paragon. So you can do searching and reporting and statistics all on Flex, Paragon, and Matrix in the Triangle.
Wow. And I would imagine that would also help for, what everybody talks about, expanding the mapping, expand the area. I think that might allow and make it a little easier for other areas to want to become a part of Triangle MLS, or just expand that area, data share and everything like that.
Our goal is to make it easier for everyone. That's super simple. And there is a technology solution to some hassle that a particular driver experiences. We should look into that. I don't think that there is an unlimited scope to geographic expansion. I think there are natural borders to the market around us. We're not Charlotte. I don't think there's a lot of Carolina in between us and Charlotte. And it makes sense for there to be a triangle area organization, that's kind of centered around RVU. And it makes sense for us to provide technical services, like run their Gmail or another association that might have 1.5 employees or something. That makes sense to me. But I've had a lot of brokers tell me that, having some business county show up in the MLS system might even be a liability problem.
Yes.
Because, his or her agents might decide that I can put the property to beat them because they came up in a search. And we're navigating those conversations, what data shares.
Yeah, absolutely. The geographical competence aspect of it is very significant. And I think that once you
look beyond the bright, shiny new toy, you realize that there's a lot more that goes into it, and that for the agents, they need to understand where they're selling and not just get that area and think that they can roll in there and just willy-nilly it. So
there's definitely an expectation of confidence. And you're definitely putting yourself out there as a professional expert. And if you've never sold a house, known it at all, or city, don't tell them what you like. I started life as a real estate appraiser, and it's an violation in the appraisal industry to assign it in an area that you want.
Yeah, as it should be. Yeah. So moving away from PMLS a little bit and then kind of just expanding a little bit on trends, what are you seeing out there that you think it's forever evolving, and MLS changes daily pretty much, but what are you seeing that is occurring that you foresee that's going to stick around, that's going to kind of change and reshape MLS as we see it today?
Yeah, gosh, that's a great question. I'm glad I got to think about that. I was at I guess it was Inman or something, and one of the former DOJ attorneys that's now working for us was asked a question about how should MLSs evolve in the future. What should they be doing when we get back home, to Raleigh? And he said something that I've heard a bunch of people repeat. He said, do better. Start out by doing better. Read the books about bias, read the book about antitrust. And so in addition to doing better, try and be doing that. Consumers and consumer sentiment is one of the reasons that DOJ done us. Okay, that they think that people agree with them that been going on with organized real estate. And I think there isn't. I think we can prove that. I think that commissions are paid to follow the rules.
Absolutely.
And I think we can prove that. So transparency is an enormous missing aspect. We've never had a conversation with the general public directly.
Yeah.
Very intentional. Let the broker talk. And lawyers, leading MLS thinkers out there in the world, are telling us to stop, quit, and address the public directly, which we've started doing through media campaigns like the one we ran in Axio starting in December. That picture of a new home buyer standing on the front porch, and the title of the ad says, math teachers can buy a house in Gary today. And we're trying to inspire people who might like to know them in that photograph to think, hey, that's somebody like me who bought a house through this program I can learn about. Maybe we can be when it comes to housing security, housing affordability, and accessibility. We haven't been correlated with that mission in the past. We're about to launch a consumer portal this year that's going to have a lot of consumer protection on it, down payment programs, things that our subscribers might not be highly motivated to talk about for the number of reasons that we are. And we want everyone's brand to really.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic because, the reality is especially with the way the news is these days, that a lot of people, if they don't know, they have a tendency to almost believe the negative or the bad news that comes into play. That's just automatically how it is.
That's human nature, right?
And yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's, if you don't know, then you don't know. And so if we can get out there, because there's more stories, more so like Camille's than there are the negative. And if we can relay that to the general public and understand that times have changed when it comes to pricing and everything like that, but that doesn't make it untouchable, and that generational wealth can be purchased through their first home, and we just need to let people be aware, make it aware, and express that to people. So that's fantastic. I love that you're getting those stories out there, because there's nothing better than a good story to really understand the depths of how something works. As far as, you went a little bit into technology. One thing, we always have the larger brokerages, whether it's Zillow and Redfin and things like that, they are, the amount that they spend on their marketing compared to what your average MLS spends is exorbitant, the difference between the two. So as far as technologies, in order to get that understanding out there, get the voice of the MLSs out there, how, outside of telling stories and kind of letting people know the real side of it, how are you going to get that out there? How are you going to get that out to the consumer, to the realtor, to the general public, and everything like that?
Well, that's a lot. We have we have a new communication plan that started in January this year, and we have posts that we make. The one about Camilla is part of the story, and we've budgeted 6 or 7 of those this year. We also have leadership profiles where we're going to be talking about the people on our board, taking into account mystify what they do and humanize who these people are. I think people have been on the board for a long time. People have they've done this. What happens at board meetings, and we'd like to why these people have been on the board and what to do. We want to encourage people board membership. There's nothing better from my perspective than a good, varied group that can have an engaged discussion that would reveal things that I was going to know about the membership and how they might receive something. But I think the role that I referred to earlier is, in one way, it's backing away from the product selection. I'm not going to pick Coke and Pepsi, for example, but it's going out and finding things that might be new options, stretching the soft drink metaphor, things that are maybe local that you've never heard of. We have 2 different, very intentional startup incubator projects involved. One of them is called the Innovator Network, where we meet with a group of people. Right now it's twice a month, pretty often, and we look at startups that are coming up out of our TP, out of the region, hear from them and see if they might be useful. If they really are approaching revenue or they're post-revenue, we introduce them to the NAR REACH program, and Triangle is an NAR REACH Labs participant. We actually have access to NAR venture capital, and we can take them straight from a startup hackathon that we host directly to revenue and to VC funding, and to exposure to 50 MLS that are part of the Innovator Network. Those all are just continually being vetted that they're real. Where we found fiberhomes.com, they're about to show up on your dashboard, and on the Paragon system. When you click on the little Fiber Homes button, it'll tell you whether that property has access to broadband, and it's also going to be ID. So you can put on your own website for people that are coming here as gig workers. Fiber is critical.
Yeah.
So now you can actually, along with the green building fields that we're adding, you can all be able to search for a property that's PERS rated and has fiber.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is very cool. So to go into just a couple more things before we finish up. First is we've seen that some MLSs are no longer association owned. Do you see that becoming more of a trend? Do you see that becoming a successful part? And it's just, again, another change in MLS and how it's reconfigured over time. How do you see that playing a role in the future?
That's a really active conversation across the country. I was talking to our corporate attorney who handles matters for us, who works for lots of other MLSs, and it's an active conversation with them as well. Currently, we're 100% owned by Raleigh, as you know. Although we treat our stakeholders as owners with something like a dividend, we're interested and have been running passport right now, our latest meeting tomorrow, talking about how to expand that support. So it's in Triangle's best interest for the associations like BigCar to be super healthy and be able to invest in membership, in education, in first-time home buyers. We'd love to see more of that.
Absolutely.
Just as a way to be involved in housing security, to try and move the needle when it comes to affordable housing, accessible housing, smart land use planning. We through NAR, we have a connection with other think tanks that have really spent a lot of time thinking about how to do growth better. And growth is possible for the Triangle. How we do it, though, is, and I think in the coverage area now, including Alabama, the variability out there is more different. The conversation about density in Europe is quite different than a conversation about density.
Absolutely.
And so we don't think Triangle has the control role in those things. We think JCON does.
Yeah.
If, an additional dividend, an additional way for us to sponsor or financially support something like that, maybe at a regional level, or just here in Johnston County, I think we do a lot more trying.
That's great. To go back a little bit, we did touch on it a bit, but to go back to the not so fun topic, the litigation aspect and everything that's occurring, how would you, if you had your crystal ball, how would you foresee that playing out? And, how do you think it will impact or change MLS as we see it today?
Right. So there's more than one, so it's hard to kind of lump these together.
Yeah.
But
which ones make you the most nervous?
Well, I guess the recent pass certification have a couple of real world impact. Whatever happens, I know the suit. I think we can all expect, late night tort ads, do brand damage in that they make. It's one of the reasons we're trying to get out ahead of this, because we expect the stream of negativity to occur. And that's before we even talk about it. Okay. If you look at the experts from, Rob Hahn, people who write about things, Rob doesn't get paid by saying nothing will happen.
Yeah.
Neil gets paid. The sky is falling. I'm probably somewhere in the middle. I think Bright MLS's study of commission is an interesting response. Instead of just being quiet about it, they actually commissioned a comprehensive study to determine whether buyer agency was worth it. And they indicated that from an economic perspective, that it is. And I believe it is. And I believe that people pay it because they find value in offering, that they get educated buyer offers because they are offering a compensation to the person that's counseling them. If you can work with smarter people, life would be better, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is a way to, it's one way to compensate on the end. And I think buyers and buyer agents get now published in the MLS, and you can see it on the consumer platforms. You can see what the buyer is going to get paid, and they can ask them questions if they're not getting property with a lower rate. Most people try and get the buyer into whatever house the buyer can get them into, and they get paid what they get paid. And it's more on some and less on others, so it all kind of comes out.
Yeah.
That's how I think buyer reps approach this. So I think the outcome is going to be brilliant. We had a case years ago that I believe resulted in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, change is hard and to sometimes the truth hurts in reality of things, but if it's for the betterment and you see a change that's in a positive direction, then you also have to look at it as that as well. So off topic, and not in the notes that I provided you, tell me, because I want to hear just your general, how do you feel? Tell me what you believe is the value of MLS. So when you have a realtor who comes in and says, I can just put this on Facebook Market, or, I can just throw it on into social media and it'll sell itself, and those kind of things. What is your true value for MLS? What is your belief?
Yeah, gosh. So I think it's very simple. Sum of the parts argument. This is a network effect, right? So there's some things have a positive network effect and some things have a negative network effect. And positive just means that the more people who use it, the more valuable. And I've been fortunate to be in management of MLSs all over the country. And it's very common. MLS is in the 90-95% range of all transactions. And it's not even so much that where in that market is great. It's the fact that it's where everything. And we can talk about the rule that we impose. We sent out almost $250,000 in year. So if people put up property a little over the line in the wrong place to get the marketing better, or they describe the property incorrectly, or they do something else that be not truthful, then we correct. And marketing. It's sort of like whether you're gonna professionally market something or you're just gonna put it.
Yeah.
And there's an enormous.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. And so just technically it's a lot like that. That's whatever they are, Craigslist. But we are curated. We also do things like full end data, like the green building declaration, things that we've liked and our broker enter the address and some other information. And we fill in all the other stuff from authority, which doesn't happen in other platforms. And there's not another platform where 15,000 people with buyers, are watching that stream obsessively, looking for something that doesn't exist outside the MLS system. I think it's the most open, great blind housing network in the world, and sold a lot in real estate in Australia and England and Eastern Europe, and there's nothing like the MLS anywhere else in the world. And in those places, it does matter who you know.
Yeah.
Whether you're going to get into the house. And, we're not perfect here, but pretty much if you see a house on one of our IDX websites and you have the money, if you immigrated yesterday or you have made some lifestyle choices, it doesn't matter. You can hire one of our people, you can walk up to yours if it's for the present.
Yeah.
If it's for sale and you have the money and you sell it online, it's yours.
Yeah.
And that's not true everywhere.
Yeah, interesting. Great. Well, I really appreciate you joining me today. My understanding of MLS is definitely much broader, and your depth of knowledge really brings some interesting facts to the table. So I really appreciate you taking the time to speak to us today. And anything else? Any last thoughts before we head out?
I will drop one website for everybody to maybe look at, and it's reso.org. reso.org. And one of the projects we didn't talk about is we're converting the MLS database this year to reso standards.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to search for things differently. Some of the labels are going to be a little bit different. It's a much more granular and a better way to search for property.
Absolutely.
But you'll see that coming in August.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I think that might be a whole new podcast in itself to discuss, but that is definitely, do check that out because it is very interesting how that's going to play a role, and very excited that Triangle MLS is taking that on. So, well, thank you so much, Matt. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Bonnie. Come back anytime.
Thank you for joining us on the J-Car Report, your go-to podcast for all things real estate. We hope you found our discussion insightful and valuable in your real estate endeavors. Remember, knowledge is power in the world of property. Stay informed, stay curious, and never stop exploring the ever-evolving landscape of real estate. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to the J-Car Report and never miss an update. And don't forget to leave us a review or share a podcast with others who might find it helpful. As always, stay connected with us on social media where we share additional tips, insights, and behind-the-scene content. And if you have any questions or suggestions for future topics, we'd love to hear them from you. Thank you for being a part of the J-Car Report community. Until next time, and remember, the world of real estate is full of opportunities, and we're here to help you seize them.